Hey everyone, and welcome to this week's weekly options watch list. Hopefully you all had a wonderful weekend and are looking forward to getting back to trading here come Monday. So before I get into the 5 plays that I'll be looking at for this week, I want to do a quick market breakdown and some of the things that I am watching on it going forward into this week. So start off here on the ES. We can see we're in a strong downtrend. We have negatively stacked DMAs. We're in a deceleration stage. We keep rejecting the 21 EMA to the downside, and we're just getting very, very aggressive selling, selling, selling. So on Thursday, we came down and got very close to touching this -3 ATR on the daily time frame. We bounced off of that level, which is where we get very extended, and now we are making that push back up higher. And then on Friday, we did reject this 8 EMA, which needs to break, in my opinion, if we want to see any more upside. I do want to see this reversion to the mean, and hopefully this could be Friday could be that catalyst to maybe get that push back up to the 21 EMA. And if we do hit that level, that would be a great place, in my opinion, to add a couple of short trades as the overall market is quite bearish. So if we go to a weekly time frame now, we can see that this low compression squeeze is still looking to fire to that downside. We've had 6 consecutive weeks of red candles, so this market is showing incredible weakness. We don't have negatively stacked DMAs yet, but if this trend continues, we will get there eventually on this weekly time frame. And another thing I'm watching is that if the daily EMA or daily 21 EMA, excuse me, we can get that reversion back up there, we should hopefully get a reversion back up to the 8 EMA on the weekly time frame as well, and that would also be a good place in my opinion to add a few short trades, as last time we hit that level it did reject it quite hard. So that's what I'm looking at on the ES here. Another thing that I'm keeping my eye on is the VIX, the volatility index. And if we come here to a smaller time frame, we can see a few things. So on Friday, we got that big pop in the market, which created a gap now on VIX on the 30-minute time frame. But we also do have a gap that was created a while ago back down around the 25 region. So what I'm going to be watching for VIX this week, and it will tell me exactly pretty much where the market will be going, is that if we fill this gap to the upside, we will see more selling as volatility will increase. Or if we fill this gap first, that means that we should get that reversion to the mean and the market should pop back up to the upside. But even if we do get this gap filled here, we still want to look to get this gap filled here eventually, and vice versa. If this one gets filled first, still look for this gap to get filled eventually. So really keep your eye on the VIX this week. It could easily tell us where this market potentially could go. So that being said, I'll go on to the actual 5 plays I'm looking at. The first one here is going to be ABV to the downside. So we have no stacked DMAs. We had this big gap down here on ABV, and we have now filled that gap, and that is the level that is getting rejected now to the upside. We're also rejecting right at this 21 EMA, and we have a nice daily squeeze that is setting up with its histogram below the 0 line. So look for that entry right around that 21 EMA, and look for a fall down to -2 or -3 ATR on the daily time frame. Next one here is IBM to the upside. We had the nice gap up here, filled the gap to the downside already, and now we're looking to make that next leg higher. So ideally want to see this squeeze histogram get some yellow histogram bars on it to show it's losing that bearish momentum, but I do like its overall structure here. We have price action holding above the 21 EMA now. We have positively stacked DMAs, so I think this one would be a later in the week play as that squeeze develops itself. Coca-Cola here is the next one. Had this one on my watch list last week, and it's still a good structured stock. So it was consolidating really, really close to this 21 EMA. And now it finally on Friday kind of got this pop a little bit higher, and its structure is looking really good. So we have positively stacked DMAs, price action is holding above that, got our first yellow bar on the squeeze histogram, And what I'll be looking for is to see if it breaks out of this +1 ATR. That means we missed the trade, unfortunately, and it's already going to make its move with this squeeze accompanying it. But ideally, I'd like to see that it hold below this 1 ATR, retest the 21 EMA once again, and that's where I would take my entry, and then hopefully the squeeze could then propel it past that level into the +2 or +3 ATR levels. Next one to the upside is STZ. We have good structure on this one as well. Losing that bearish momentum here on the squeeze histogram, looking for it to kind of slingshot back up to the upside, retesting these previous highs. We have positively stacked DMAs. Our price action is holding above the 21 and it's been consolidating right at that level. So I do like this one a lot to the upside for this week. And then last but not least here we have Excel Energy, which has been on my watch list for the last few weeks, and its structure keeps changing a little bit. But that being said, this one is looking good to the upside once again, in my opinion. We have positively stacked DMAs. We're getting the loss of bearish momentum here on the squeeze histogram, and it's looking to make that move back above the zero line. And our price action has been holding above that 21 EMA. So this is the breakdown of the trades that I'm looking for the upcoming week. Hopefully it gives you all a few other things that you could look at as well. And let's go out there on Monday and start making some money, everybody.